What is up, and welcome back to another episode of Blood and Beer, the show where we talk blood sport and we drink beer. I'm your host, Matt, and as always, we've got some MMA to talk. We've got no beer to drink today because I've been just absolutely exhausted this week. Haven't been getting great sleep. So we're drinking water. But we're doing a pick'em episode, UFC Fight Night, Man-Cow, but it's really fight morning. Prelims start 3 a.m. Eastern Time. Main card starts 6 a.m. So you wake up, if you're just a casual, you can throw it on and get some breakfast and UFC main event with Petr Yan taking on Deiveson Figueiredo in a 5-round main event. 13 fight card. We got the Road to UFC Championships on here. They're an Asian-based tournament to get into the UFC, and a lot of Chinese fighters on this because the fight's happening over there in China. They're trying to showcase them just like they did last year with the Road to UFC. They did it in Japan. A lot of Japanese and Korean fighters on there. But with these pick'em shows, we put $1,000 up. We split it up however the hell we want. Try to make you some money and keep track of it. This year, we are up $288 so far on our $1,000 every week bets. Up over 300 last week, so we're finally back in the positive, and we're going to be scratching and clawing our way to big numbers to close out the year. We only got 3 UFC cards left. We got a PFL pick'em we're going to be doing next week for the PFL Championship. Goodness. And then finally, before we get started with our picks, giveaway still going on. You got until Saturday at midnight to get your comments on my videos. That'll get you entered in the drawing to win one of these Blood and Beer t-shirts with this logo up here on it. Right there. Yeah, boom. And yeah, without further ado, I'll announce the winner, by the way, on the recap show for this card. Without further ado, though, let's start with Petr Yan. Minus 320 favorite, taking on Deiveson Figueiredo, plus 250 dog. Both these guys, former champs, top of the division, trying to get back in the title hunt. Figueiredo might be one fight away if he can get this done with Petr Yan, but it's going to be a tough fight because Petr Yan, he's a very good boxer, very crisp, keeps his striking very tight, high guard, he's hard to hit in the head, I should say. You can catch him in the body, it seems. But he's got really good defensive wrestling. The only guy that's been able to hold him down is Aljamain Sterling, and they call the guy the human backpack because he does that to everybody. He just gets on your back and holds you down. But I was surprised that he was such a big favorite at minus 320 because Deiveson Figueiredo is a dog. This dude's got it everywhere. He's got big punching power. He's got good kicks. He's got good wrestling. He can take you down, control you, but he's also got submissions for days. He can just lock up a rear naked choke like nothing, and his squeeze is brutal. He can pop your head clean off. This is going to be a really weird fight. I'm picking Yan in this. I don't have a huge... Well, I really think Yan is going to be too much for Figueiredo if it stays on the feet. In Figueiredo, he got pieced up a little bit by Cody Garbrandt in round 1 of their fight, came back and ended up submitting him, but Petr Yan's a different fighter, a lot faster striking. Not as powerful maybe, but he's going to be able to throw a lot more combinations. What could save Figueiredo in this is if he can get takedowns early. He's athletic enough. He's strong enough. If he can get takedowns early, mix that in there, throw some kicks, get Petr Yan thinking, and then just spam takedowns and try to just do what Merab Dvalishvili did. I don't know if he has that kind of motor. It doesn't seem like he does. I don't know if he has the gas tank to hold up for 5 rounds wrestling like that either. We haven't seen him at 5 rounds at 135. Will the extra weight of Petr Yan compared to the other guys wear on him, or... I don't know. We'll have to see. But I'm picking Petr Yan because I just don't think Figueiredo has that motor to keep going, keep pushing, keep pressuring Petr Yan, stay in his face the whole time. I think around round 4 or 5, we're going to see Petr Yan kind of start to run away with his boxing combinations, and he might even get a TKO, but I'm not sure how it'll end. It could be a decision for Yan. I'm going Yan, though. We're going to just do 320 to win a flat 100 on it, so 420 bring back on that. And that's how a lot of our bets are on this card because it's a weird card. Now this fight, I had my wife help me make picks on this one. She seems to do really good when she picks and doesn't know much about the fighters other than their names and what they look like. So we got Yan Xiaonan, minus 195 favorite, taking on Tabitha Ricci, plus 165. And Xiaonan, she's a super powerful striker. She rocked Zhang Wei Li in her title fight, which she eventually ended up losing. Kind of lost it twice because she got choked out and then knocked out almost in that fight. But she comes back and makes it to the end. I don't know. It was a good showing, but if she can't stay on the feet, then Xiaonan has a lot of trouble. She has a big hole in her wrestling game, and that's Richie's bread and butter, wrestling judo. She can get a lot of trip takedowns, which is going to be good with the blitzing style of Yan Xiaonan. If Xiaonan comes in, Richie can rip some underhooks and just get a trip, take her down, and hold her down. I think it's a 3-round fight, so I'm going with Richie here. I like the wrestler in these kinds of exchanges, and plus 165, we're going to put 180 down, gets us 475 back, so we're going big on the dog. Shout out to my wife for that pick, and I didn't have a great feel for it, but the more I sit on it, I really do like Richie, the wrestling. It's a big step up, but Xiaonan, she's older, and she just cannot wrestle. She doesn't have defensive wrestling. She doesn't have a get-up game, really. If she can't keep it on the feet, it's nothing. Then we have Kong Wang, or Wang Kong. She's taking on Gabriela Fernandez. Wang Kong's a minus 850 favorite. It varies everywhere you look, minus 950, minus 750, but she's a huge favorite. Plus 575 coming back for Fernandez. And this is a striker versus striker matchup. The difference is Wang Kong, she's a world-class kickboxer. She defeated Valentina Shevchenko in kickboxing before Shevchenko switched over to MMA. She's got big power. She got a 60-second knockout in her UFC debut. And if it goes to the ground, she can submit you. So I think she's going to have the ground advantage over Fernandez as well, but I don't see this one going to the ground. I see just this big imposing force in Kong Wang. She's going to end up getting the win. I don't know if it's going to be a decision, if it's going to be a submission, a knockout. It could be anything. I don't like betting the way it finishes in these lower weight class women fights, so I'm going to stay away from that, but we're definitely saying Wang Kong is going to win that one. She's huge for 125. And then we have the King of Kung Fu, Muslim Salikov, taking on Song Kenan. Song Kenan plus 155 favorite, minus 190 for Muslim Salikov coming back. And Song Kenan, he's a good striker. He keeps it tight, keeps it crisp at the beginning especially. He has decent power. Everything Song Kenan does seems decent. He's a decent wrestler, decent striker. Not great anywhere, but not bad anywhere, really. He could have success if he can get on the inside and start working some dirty boxing on Muslim Salikov, but Salikov's called the King of Kung Fu for a reason. This dude has crazy spinning attacks, the way he sets it up. He's very dynamic, very explosive, even at his older age, and just the unpredictability, his ability to gauge distance, using his kicks as a jab. I think Salikov's going to get the dub here, and it might end up being a kind of a boring decision because these guys are going to be, Song Kenan might get caught early and be afraid to engage, and you got to engage with Salikov for him to look good, I feel. But we're going to put 190 on the minus 190 favorite to get 290 back. And that brings us to our next pick. We have Carlos Olberg, minus 245 favorite, taking on Volkan Ozdemir. And Ozdemir, plus 200 coming back. He's very strong. He has knockout power, one shot, really. He has crisp boxing, just like Kenan and Petr Yan. He keeps it crisp, keeps it tight, keeps a high guard. But with Carlos Olberg, this dude's a beast kickboxer. It's kind of the same thing with every fight on the card, but beast kickboxer. He's got good kicks, but really good striking, very unpredictable. He keeps his hands low, throws from the hip, uses good head movement. He's a training partner of Israel Adesanya. He's coming off of a really fast knockout, like a 15 or 20-second knockout, I think, of Alonzo Menefield. His only loss in the UFC, or his last loss at least, was to Kennedy and Nezachekwu. And that was because he gassed out. I think he's more experienced now. I think we're going to see Olberg win, and I think it's going to be a knockout. He is a devastating striker. He's not a huge power puncher, but the volume he puts on you and the angles that these shots come from, it's kind of like Yuri Prohaska. Guys don't see it coming, and it catches them off guard. I'm going with Carlos Olberg by knockout in this one. We're putting 310 on Carlos Olberg by knockout to close out our 1,000. That wins a 775 back on plus 145 odds. And then for the rest of the card, like I said, it's road to the UFC finals, so we don't know a lot of these guys. I didn't do film study on them because last time I did it, you just don't get a lot from them. They haven't been fighting top competition over where they're fighting out of. But it's bound to be good. These guys go all out. They want that UFC contract, and they go all out because they know even if they lose and they put on a good show, they might get that contract still. But one of the fights to look out for is Ozzy Diaz. I forget the guy he's fighting, but the guy he's fighting, knockout artist, 5 knockouts in a row. Ozzy Diaz, he's a former bare knuckle fighting championship guy, BKFC. He also fought in LFA. I remember watching him a couple years ago in BKFC, and he's got some serious recoverability. Dude's got power. He uses his jab and stays at range really well. It seems like one shot out of nowhere can put your lights out. And then he gets rocked a lot, but he's always coming back. It looks like he's about to be knocked out, and then he can just turn your lights out at any moment. He's 6'4", huge for the division. It's going to be a fun fight. He's a guy to look out for. If you're looking for a long shot, he's a big dog also. But yeah, that's what we have for that one. And again, this card, main card 6 a.m. Eastern time. Prelims start at 3 a.m. It's gonna be weird, but we're gonna ride with it. We're gonna wake up and just eat some fucking Cheerios and vibe. But other news we got in the MMA world, because that's our pickups. Real quick, I'm all over the place this episode. I'll run through our picks again though. We got Piotr Jan, we got Tabitha Ricci, we got Muslim Salikov, and we got Carlos Olberg on this for our picks this week. But other news around the MMA combat sports world, Eddie Alvarez, he's going to be making his combat sports return. He's taking on Jeremy Lil Heathen Stevens in BKFC. That'll be a fun one. And then keeping it with boxing, we got Darren Till taking on Tommy Fury in January. That'll be a weird one. Hopefully Darren Till can look good, but I don't know if he will. And then we have Israel Adesanya. His next fight has been announced on February 1st. He's taking on Nasruddin Imavov. That's going to be a really fun striking matchup. We're hearing more rumors of Diego Lopez and Alexander Volkanovski being worked out for UFC 312 in Sydney, Australia, I believe is where that's at. So if that happens, I assume they're going to do an interim title fight. It'll be fun. Can't wait to hear confirmation on that. Chris Weidman, he just had his fight with Eric Anders canceled for 309. They actually rescheduled that to UFC 310. Hopefully he looks good, can go out on a high note if it is his retirement fight. And then Usman Nurmagomedov, cousin of Khabib and brother of Umar Nurmagomedov, he's defending his lightweight title in Bellator against Paul Hughes. Didn't see the date. I think they said January 25th. Maybe I'll have to go check that again. Like I said, I'm all over the place this episode. I am exhausted. And then finally, we got the PFL Championships next week. We're doing a pick'em for that. We're going to see guys like Impa Kasanganay, Brennan Loughnane, Dolitson Yagshimeradov. Who else is fighting in the championships that I'm forgetting? Fuck it. Dakota Dicheva versus Talia Santos. It'll be good. They haven't advertised it for shit. Typical PFL, but that's next Friday night. We're going to do a pick'em for that. That's all I got for you. It's a quick episode today. I don't have much to say on this card. I thought it was a lot better when I was looking at it on paper, but then you scroll down and you just get to all these guys making their UFC debuts that if you're not following Road to UFC, you don't know who they are. Is what it is. It's a fight night, and they're giving us a great main event. So that's all you can ask for, and that's all I got for you today. Don't forget to get entered in the pick'em just by commenting on my video. Let me know your picks. What am I wrong about? You think Figueredo is going to wrestle the shit out of Jan and just keep him down and beat the shit out of him? He could, but 5 rounds gives Jan a lot of time to work. He's a late starter, and he can really pick it up fast. So we'll have to see how it goes. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Matt with Blood and Beer, and we didn't have beer today, but hopefully there's blood on this card. So that's all we got for you today, bud.